Welcome back everybody, this is Tassie with Tassie Eats, and today I'm doing a seafood fest. Now for the seafood, I did prepare 2 lobsters. I also have mussels that I also made in 2 separate ways, and then I also did tempura shrimp. And if you guys are interested in seeing how this recipe was made, feel free to check out my other episode on the seafood fest, how it was cooked, so then that way you yourself can make it at home as well. And if you guys are interested in seeing future episodes, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let's go ahead and get started with this. And I want to go ahead and start off with the lobster. Now, with this lobster, I actually basted it twice, like when I was about to cook it, and then later on when I broiled it and it was almost ready, I basted it again. So I ended up not having to need butter to dip into it because that just got all over me. Look at my fingers. It's like so buttery and garlicky. And for my 3 sauces, I have my spicy pepper Thai sauces, and then I also have a tonkatsu sauce. Now, the tonkatsu sauce is just something I bought, so I'm not going to actually show you, if you look at the how to cook this dish, I'm not going to show you how to prepare the tonkatsu, but I am going to I'm going to show you how to make both of the Thai sauces here. And they're both really good. It's really just what kind of flavor profiles you're looking for. They're both fish sauce based. But one of them has tamarind in there and rice powder seasoning. And if you know anything about those two, tamarind just has more of a sour kick, but then the rice powder, anything you put that into, it makes it taste like la. And if you've ever had la, it's a Thai dish again, and you know, the rice powder seasoning is one of the basics for the spice. So then, it really tastes like la. That's perfect. And for the lobster, oh my God, look at that. Just, oh, so good. For the lobster here, I really just kept it really simple with some butter, a little bit of bay seasoning, garlic. Oh, I want to try this hot seasoning here. That's so good. And it's spicy. Now I want to try it with this pepper here. The other one is more of this green Thai one here. It's more with a lot of cilantro, a lot of lime. It's so good. And you know, I'm really lucky that, you know, like in the Twin Cities, we have a pretty big Asian community here. So there's like a bunch of Asian stores. And I actually got my lobsters from the Asian stores, the market, and it was at $6.99 a pound for a whole lobster. Man, this is so good. So I ended up getting 2 of them. And I know a lot of people eat the head of the lobster. But I don't know how to do that. And I've tried. Okay, I've really tried before. There wasn't like any meat on there, and I didn't really know what they were eating. So I don't have the head of the lobster. Traditionally, it's for me, I use it for like soup. So it's like stock. That's what I use it for. And I know that a lot of people, they like to squeeze lemon on their lobster and seafood. I like to just eat it the way it is. But I'll squeeze it on there for those who like it squeezed on. But I will just be eating it. Yeah. Lemon doesn't do much for me the way the pepper would. But this really cleanses your palate. That's why I like to just eat it. Now, I know people who don't like sour stuff. They're really not going to like that. All right, and I also have water. I really don't like, I have like all glass cups, but I really don't like leaving fingerprints on them. So I always try to use a napkin if my hands are dirty. Now, that piece of little shell in there. Okay, I'll move that to the side. Okay, let's try the shrimp. Now, with the tonkatsu sauce, this tonkatsu sauce, it's actually great for dipping into like deep fried foods. You should definitely try it with like gyozo. It's a Japanese sauce, dumplings basically. They're great for like fried dumplings. Anything that's fried, it tastes really good with it. And the first time I had it, I was in San Francisco and I was in their Japantown, and they actually served this at the restaurant. And it was so amazing. I was like, what is this sauce? So then I found out it was tonkatsu. And I spent the entire time, the rest of my trip in San Fran, looking for this sauce. I couldn't find it. I went all over Chinatown. I didn't know too many of the markets out there. So then when I came back home to Minnesota, I didn't have it. I was kind of bummed. And then I went to my local Asian store and they had it. I was like, are you serious? And I was out there on vacation with my sisters. And I made them look for it with me, and yeah. So we have it here in Minnesota. You gotta try it. And I've made deep fried lobster before, and I really like it dipped in there too. You know, like, I know some people with like shrimp tempura or deep fried stuff, they like to put it into their tempura dipping sauce, like a ponzu or something like that. But it's, to me, I understand the whole umami kind of thing where it's almost supposed to be like a flavor that doesn't overpower everything else. Almost tastes like it's nothing. So I prefer the tonkatsu though, because it doesn't mask the flavor for me. It actually enhances it in a totally different way. So if you don't want to dip it in there, you don't have to. It's kind of like, it's not like soy sauce because it's sweeter than that, but it's kind of like soy sauce. And I love tempura shrimp. It's my favorite way of having shrimp prepared. I mean, I did go to New Orleans and had their barbecue shrimp. And when you're in New Orleans and they talk about barbecue shrimp, in my head I was imagining like skewers with some barbecue sauce on the grill. Not like that at all. It's amazing though. Very good. It's almost like a soup or broth kind of a setup. And you dip it with your bread. It was very good. But I still prefer tempura shrimp though. Alright, now for my mussels. I prepare them in two separate ways, and both of them, they are my favorite ways of eating the mussels. You can also do this to oysters, okay? So with the mussels, the first type that I prepared is a Japanese style. It's basically just mayo with panko on top. Sounds kind of plain, but it's actually really, really good. I've had this before at restaurants, And I found that some Japanese restaurants, when they make this, they try to fancy it up too much, and it really takes away the flavor of the mussels or the oysters. I've actually never done this way with oysters, but you could. But with this, I've always only done it with mussels. And, you know, it's strictly just mayo with panko. I've had it with, like, where they put some roe on there, and then they put salt, like, not salt, but, like, soy sauce and stuff and different types of things on there to fancy it. I was not a fan of that. I don't like cheese on these. I know some people, they like cheese on them. So if you want to, you can definitely put cheese. I know a lot of people do that. But I just prefer it with mayo and panko. And if you've ever had elotes, the Mexican corn, the mayo acts like how the mayo does on the elotes. It's like a butter. It turns into like a buttery taste. And then you get the crunchiness from the panko. Mm-hmm. This is really good. Now the other way I prepared it, this mussel here, it's basically this sauce, the green spicy Thai one. So it's actually this one, and what I do is I spread it on top. And a lot of times if you're grilling or you're camping, you can do this too. And my sister, her family and her, they've actually never had this. I think her husband had it before. But when we went camping earlier this summer, I did this as one of my little appetizer kind of snack on food during camp. And I remember I had prepared it all, and they were like, you know, what are you doing? You know, like, does it taste good? Anything like that. They all tried it, even her kids. And they absolutely loved it. So it's something that, you know, like, I think it can apply to a lot of people with their taste buds and that they would prefer this or like it. Definitely give it a try. Just see, because it gives it a nice kick of spice, and you don't have to make it really spicy. You can actually add more of just the sauce on there. And but this one, you know, because it's limey, it's spicy, it's got cilantro and a bit of fish sauce and water in here. It's pretty good. And so this is my other favorite way of having mussels prepared. And the best part, you know, like after you already grill it, you can put more on there. So you can throw on some fresh amount. And this one's kind of stuck to the shell, I can see. And that method is how I eat all of my oysters. I'm not a huge fan of like raw oysters. I've tried it in New Orleans. We were at like this famous oyster bar in New Orleans off of Bourbon Street. And my good friend was like trying to get me to try it. And I'm like, I'm in New Orleans. They have fresh oysters. I have to. So they're like shucking it fresh right in front of us. They give us this huge platter of it. And you know, I put the exact spices and sauces that you have to have on there. And I remember I was like pumping myself up, and I was like, and then blah, it came right out. I felt really bad because one, it was very rude that I did that. Two, you know, like, it's New Orleans at a really nice oyster bar, and I'm just like throwing it out. It was just, oh God. So I can never do that again. And I will not put myself through that again. It's a textural and it's a taste. So it's both. I do not like the intense taste of that seafoody. Ugh, and then it's like phlegm and like a raw egg in your mouth. Nope. I can't do that. So all of my my mussels, I'm sorry, all of my oysters are cooked. All right. And this is definitely an amazing sauce. You can eat this with like deep fried meats. You can do it with all sorts of different types of items. That's amazing with rice too. So good. Now, the claws. I suck at the claws because I tend to hurt myself a lot. That looks good. I tend to hurt myself a lot when I try to open up claws. So even with like crab legs, I'll rip it, toss it, because I don't want to deal with it because I've been cut by them before. And yeah, the claw meat, it is the sweetest, and you know, a lot of people love it, but I don't know if the pain's worth it. So I'm not really good at eating the claw. But I'm going to try it anyways. Let's go ahead and dig some out. Come on. Come on. Jesus. Ah! Excuse me. The meat part of this is like, I'm going to cut it. So I brought shears. Whew. It's a lot of work. I do not have any hand strength whatsoever. Oh my God. Okay. You're right there. Okay, I give up. All right, let's go ahead and eat this piece here. Yeah, it's really sweet. People really love it. I lift weights at the gym. I really do. But I can't seem to do things in real life. My girlfriend and I, she's always telling me like there's such a thing as, you know, like farm strong and then gym strong. Gym strong is not as strong as farm strong because farm strong, they use real life everyday muscles that they need. Whereas when you're at the gym, you're just going in one motion. You know, you're just doing things in one motion. And I may be able to squat 100 pounds on my shoulders, but I can't carry that 100-pound and walk around with it, okay? So it's very different. So, yeah. I have no hand strength whatsoever. And I remember my girlfriend, who's like 4'11", I don't know, maybe 4'10", she was like, I was cutting up cardboard for her. I think she was like pregnant at the time, or she had just given birth. So I was over at her house. I was trying to help her do her recycle and cutting up cardboard, and I had scissors to help me cut it. And so I remember doing it, and I was like using both hands, and I'm just trying to cut through this really thick cardboard, and then it was like kind of appliance cardboard. And so like she just sat there and watched me. Like, what's wrong with you, Tassie? And I was like, oh my God, it hurts. So what she did was she took it with one hand, she cut right through it. I was like, God damn it. Like, just goes to show, you know. Lifting weights doesn't do much for you at the gym. I know what lobster lard tastes like now. The sauce tastes a lot like lard, but it's not exact, but it's spicy and limey, just like lard is. Well, lard doesn't have to be spicy. All right, I don't even know if I want to try. Cause you see these little spikes on here? I don't. Okay. Oh shit. No, I just suck at this. Oh, come on. And I don't do a lot of manual labor. You know, like I don't like in normal life, in real life. I don't, I give up. It's a lot of work. I don't actually like, you know, like I live in an apartment. I love apartment living because I don't have to maintain anything. And I love the thought that, you know, if I want to move somewhere else, I can. I don't have to deal with selling it. Now, don't get me wrong. I've had houses in the past, okay? The only thing is, you know, when I help, like my ex at the time, when I had my house, before I sold it, you know, like if it's time to rake, I would get calluses from holding the rake for too long. Sometimes if I'm brushing my hair for too long, I will also get calluses. And I remember I took up guitar and then I started getting calluses. And I always, when I lift weights, I always wear gloves because it will hurt me too much in my hands. You know, I have an office job. The heaviest thing I lift is like my lunch bag. Laundry bag. Mm. I'll put some more pepper on here. Mm. I do drink a lot of water when I eat. Man. Okay. So I'm only going to eat half of this lobster tail. I'm not going to eat the whole thing because I'm saving half of this for my favorite critters. So there's one of the cats that I absolutely love in my life. His name is Oscar. And Oscar loves seafood. He loves it when I make paella and I do shrimp in there. Like, I will cut up the shrimp really tiny. He even loves tempura shrimp. So I should probably save that too for just one of each. So I'm just going to save one tail and one of the shrimp tempuras on the side for him because, you know, he loves to eat it. And he loves eating human food. So I got to save that for him because if I just say seafood, Oscar, seafood, like, he'll like... He's like he has such an amazing personality and I love watching him eat because it's the cutest thing. Especially if I have like broth. So whenever I get like rotisserie chicken, I'll pour all the broth out that came with the rotisserie chicken. I'll shred up some chicken meat for him and he'll just like lick up all the broth. And it's just so adorable. So I have to save that for him. I can't eat this and not save any for him. That's just wrong. Okay. So he's gonna like smell me and be like, seafood? I'm gonna be like, I don't have any. I can't do that to him. Oh. And I honestly believe, like with cats, I don't have any pets myself. I used to have a dog, a German Shepherd, but I don't have any pets. And, but cats, I learned, they know everything you're saying. Every single thing you say, they understand it. They're choosing to ignore you. And here's absolute proof. So, I was house sitting for my girlfriend. She went to France. And she has 2 cats. So I went over there, slept over for like 2 weeks, just helping to watch her cats and everything. And, you know, I would talk to her cats. And one of them, he's really like, he's a lot more friendlier. You know, he would come over, he would understand me. And then the other one, though, he doesn't really like a lot of people. But he would flat out ignore me. So I'm like, okay. You know, I've never had a cat. I've never owned a cat before. I was like, you know, maybe he doesn't understand what I'm saying. So then one day, I open up the garage where the trash is in there. And he sneaks outside into the garage. And I'm like, shit. Like, I have to go. Like, right now. It's going to take me forever to get him out of that garage. So I'm standing there with the door open, my hands on my hip, and I'm like, Frankie, inside. And Frankie's just sitting on the hood of his mama's car, just staring at me. Minding, like, I don't care. Do whatever you want. And I'm like, dude, I cannot leave this cat in the garage. So finally I was like, Frankie, inside right now. And I kid you not, he gets up, walks right in. And I'm like, oh, you. This whole almost 2 weeks, you've understood everything I've said. You're just choosing to ignore me. So, it's true. They understand you. They know exactly what you're saying. They're just choosing to ignore you. And then, like, with Oscar, like, he'll, like, there are times where I'll be like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to pick up Oscar. You know, I love picking him up. I love holding him like a baby because if I hold him, he'll, like, dangle his head and he'll, like, stare around. And so I was like, oh, I want to go and pick up Oscar. And then I turn around and Oscar's walking towards me. All of a sudden he freezes. As soon as he hears me say, I'm going to pick up Oscar, he just freezes in mid-motion and he refuses to look at me. And I was like, Oscar, I'm going to pick you up. And he just like won't look at me. And he's shaken his head no to me before. And then I was like, fine, I won't pick you up then. I was there. And you know what he does? And then he resumed to slowly walk, and then he, like, brushed himself against my leg. Like, I'm sorry, I love you, but you're not picking me up. And then he, like, wanders off again. So, yes, cats understand every single thing you say. And I was going to get a cat. His name is going to be, well, I already picked it out. His name was going to be Bowser. And he was going to be a British short hair cat. Because I love the cats with like the fat, with like the fat face and like the head is all fat and round and his face is squished in. I love those cats. But where I moved to, they don't allow pets. So I couldn't have a cat. Everybody's like, oh, you should just get the cat anyway, sneak him in. I'm like, you want me and the cat to be homeless? Like, it could happen. So one day, I want to get Bowser. And the cat that I was looking at, he is a purebred. And, you know, I was like saving up Bowser bucks because he was going to be very, very, very expensive. But, you know, I was like, you know, I'm gonna free him from his captivity, and now I can't have him. So, at the state fair here in Minnesota, we have deep fried lobster, and I really love and enjoy deep fried lobster. The only thing is, at the fair, sometimes their deep fried lobster, like the first year it came out, it was like perfect, you know, and then about 2 consecutive years after that, it was extremely salty, where no matter how many times, no matter what time of the day I went, it was very, very salty. So I don't know if they just changed their recipe, but it's too salty. So like even my brother, who doesn't really have a problem with salty foods, he was like, oh my God, this is salty. It's like they didn't change out the batter or the oil or something, and I don't know, but I love deep fried lobster, and I make it every now and then. All right, now if you guys are interested in seeing how I make the deep fried lobster, feel free to comment down below. Or else, you know, like if there's different ways you also like how to make the mussels, tell me down below in the comments. Because I love finding different ways of eating things. Especially if there's like different recipes, different ingredients. I would love to check it out. I'm going to put some of this other red sauce on here and see how that goes. I definitely think this sauce overpowers the other flavor. I would probably recommend, if you're going to do it, only do it with one or the other pepper. Don't do both like how I just did. Almost done. Just the dreaded claws are left. And I got my tempura shrimp here. That was a big one. Oh, I'm dreading the claws. I don't know why I suck at the claws so much. Mmm. And did you know, like, with tempura, you can actually make it gluten-free. You can just substitute it with the with gluten-free flour. Powder. With gluten-free flour. And with the panko, there's actually a gluten-free panko. And I found it at the Asian markets before, the gluten-free panko. I will leave the legs for the arms for last. Because I'm gonna struggle. And my shrimp, I also get it from the Asian market. It's really cheap. These are like the tiger ones, so they're really large. And it has the head on. And the head on is like $1 cheaper. So I just go home and I rip them all off. And then I clean and devein all of them. So I can't remember how much, because I got a pound of these. I think it was only $6.99 a pound. Yeah. And these were like, there was a lot for $6.99 a pound. The dreaded claws. I hate the claws, man. That was a little easy. Oh, the butter and the garlicky taste. So good. Tons of meat in here. Feel it. That's awesome. Mm. And I'm actually giving this part to my friend as well because, you know, she's going to be doing it for like a soups. And so, not going to struggle with whatever's in there. I kind of feel like I should save some of this for Oscar. He deserves claw meat too. So I'm also going to put that to the side. I added it in my hair. Okay. Another claw. Ooh, this one came out really nice and easy. It's like the claw hurt me that I didn't like it. So it's making it easy for me right now. Thank you. Check out this huge one. It's like, it's like super big. Mm-hmm. All right, last claw. Man, oh, hey. Also very easy. Maybe I was like working too hard at it and it shouldn't have been that hard at all. Possibly. Oh God. Push it out. Huge chunk of meat. All right, the last part is a lemon. Tie everything all off. And then we're done with our seafood fest. And then don't forget, you guys, if you want to see how I made all of this, check out my other episode, How to Cook a Seafood Fest. That way you guys will be able to eat this at home yourself.